All right, good afternoon, traders. Today is May 20th, 2026. My name, Coach Carignan. I'm a lead instructor here at the BYOB Trading Room. It's a day trading division of the Hit and Run Candlesticks family. I want to thank all the members. Thank you for your subscriptions. You guys help keep the lights on. I try to provide actionable, profitable content every day. Makes trading fun when you're making profits. So I try very hard to get you guys into good, profitable trades. I want to thank everybody out there in podcast land, digital land, cyber land. Thank you for following, liking, subscribing, and leaving kind comments on my content, my social media content. That helps to inspire me and others that this is a successful trading room. Want to thank everybody that shares the BYOB content, that helps get the good word out there to the World Wide Web, help educate the masses. Appreciate that. Love that. Special shout out. Name mentioned here, Bob Jordan, John Jordan, Kathy, Sarah Roasted, Rick Sadler, Ed Carter, everybody helping get the good word out there to the World Wide Web, sharing the content and the lessons that go along with it. All right, let's take a look at the market this morning. I'm going to move this clock recorder off to the side. How I captured 3,600, 59K account. Let's take a look at only using 10%. Okay, let's take a look at the markets this evening. Okay, so into the close. I'm on a 3-minute chart, and you can see the coiling going on here. Let me see if I can get the... I just want to point out the coiling before I get started. See if I can get that going. We'll see here in just a second. Here comes the epic pen. It's not quite... epic is not quite the word for it, but this is the epic pen. Okay, so I'll use the blue. Okay, the blue one, the blue arrows. Okay, so you can see the price goes down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. Okay, you can see this constant going back and forth. That's coiling up to spring, hopefully higher. All right, so we'll see what happens. Looks like they got a little start on us. 741.15. Looks like probably going higher right there. So that's price coiling up. Now, you could not see this on the 10-minute chart, okay? Because if you went to the 10-minute chart, you don't even know what you're looking at, okay? You just see candles with lots of tails and wicks, okay? But if you look at it on the 3-minute chart, you can see it clearly, the up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, price coiling up to splash out higher, okay? So something to keep in mind, all right, to kind of look at the price action on different time frames. Sometimes it helps clear the picture up and helps you to see the pattern that you're looking for, okay? So into the close, here's a 10-minute chart, all right? And you can see the sticks and the 3 are riding up on top of the rising 8. Well, it's kind of a drifting, melting up 8 right there. So we got 10-minute uptrend coming into the close so far. We've got 2 more 10-minute candles to be produced. All right, it does look like we're going to probably melt up for the into the close. Nice little push there. Okay, on the 2-hour chart, let's take a look at the 2-hour chart. We've got the sticks and the 3 riding up on top of the 8. We've got daylight between the 3 and the 8. We've got a 2-hour uptrend coming into the close. On the daily chart, just going to move this out of the way right now. Okay, on the daily chart, we've got a higher low and a higher high closing over the bullish trap, over the rising 17. I'm going to just call it the middle. It's really, I'll call that the top. We're up at the top of quadrant 4, so that's bullish. Okay, so this is where our rally started right here. So that's bullish. We have not made any lower lows and in an uptrend for SPY. It's going to be bullish in an uptrend on weekly and monthly as well. As you can see, here's weekly, no lower lows, bullish uptrend, monthly, bullish uptrend. Okay, so daily, weekly, monthly, and 2-hour bullish and in uptrends on SPY. Let's take a look at QQQ. So on QQQ, let's drill down to the 10-minute chart. And by the way, if you like trading SPY, I want to let you know that QQQ is very much correlated to the SPY. If you watch the price action in SPY, and review it right next to the same 10-minute chart of QQQ, you will see you will get kind of the same price candles as you see. Not exactly, but you will get a 10-minute uptrend. Okay, then you'll get the coiling up. All right, notice the same thing is happening on the QQQ. All right, so if you ever like want to double down on your trade, you know, you can always look to the QQQ to jump in on that one as well. Or if you ever want to neutralize a failing position, you could take the opposite direction on the correlated indice. Okay, so you can see 10-minute uptrend there on QQQ right there. That's what we traded today. And let's go look at SPY. 10-minute uptrend on SPY. Look and see, big exhaustion candle right there on SPY. I'll bet there's the same one on QQQ. Big exhaustion candle on QQQ. See how closely they are correlated? All right, so this one will give you much better performance, by the way. Okay, I know I trade SPY pretty often, but QQQ does give you much better performance because it moves kind of a little bit further, like 100% of SPY's move plus like 10 or 20% more sometimes. Okay, so there's QQQ on the 10-minute chart, and you can see the sticks and the 3 are riding up on top of the drifting or the rising 8. So we got daylight between the 3 and the 8, so 10-minute uptrend coming into the close. 2-hour candle. You got the sticks and the 3 riding up on top of the 8. You got daylight between the 3 and the 8. 2-hour uptrend into the close. Daily candle, higher low, higher high, closing over, bullish trap, closing over, rising 17. Okay, top of quadrant 4, that's bullish. We have not made lower lows. This is the first lower low to come to, is you actually have to come all the way back here. All right, so on the daily chart, bullish up in quadrant 4. All right, no lower lows, so in an uptrend on QQQ. Weekly, it's going to be the same thing, bullish in an uptrend. Monthly, bullish and in an uptrend on QQQ. All right, let's take a look at daily chart for FNGU. All right, here's FNGU, and I got a lot of lines on here. Let me take some of this stuff off of here so I can just deal with the ones I want. And that looks like what I want. All right, so here's the daily candle right here, higher low, higher high, closing over a bearish trap, closing over the rising 17. You can see this is the 67% line. So we are in the upper third. So that's bullish. We did not make lower lows. Okay, so we're still in a bullish and in an uptrend on FNGU daily chart. Okay, still bullish in an uptrend and up over the all-time high anchored VWAP. Okay, so there's FNGU. Let's take a look at IWM. All right, here's IWM. Higher low, higher high. Closing over a bearish trap. Closing over the flat 17. Closing in the middle of quadrant 4. Has not put in lower lows. All right, so we're still in an uptrend on IWM. So we're still bullish. In an uptrend, we have not made lower lows. This IWM. Let's take a look at Diamond Dow. Diamond Dow, higher low, higher high, closing over a bullish cross, closing over the rising 17. Middle or top of quadrant 4, that's bullish. Have not made lower lows. We are still in an uptrend on Diamond Dow. Let's take a look at silver. Silver's a higher low, a higher high. We closed under a bearish trap, closed under the 17, closed under the all-time high anchored VWAP. I'll pan way out so you can see this. So these are the quadrant lines. The origin of this move starts back here in 2022. We are in quadrant 3. You can see that's 1, 2, 3, 4. We are in quadrant 3, so we're neutral because we're not in the upper third. So we're neutral and we're still in an uptrend. We have not made lower lows yet. So remember, we got a high here. We made a higher high, so that put us in an uptrend. We have not made lower lows, so we're still in an uptrend that seems to be moving down. Okay, so neutral, but still in a dysfunctional uptrend. We are underneath the all-time high anchored VWAP right there. So there's silvers. Take a look at gold. All right, on gold we got a higher. I think it's an outside day. The low 0988. The low 1008. Higher low, higher high. Closing inside a bearish trap under the 17 EMA. We are in the upper third here on GLD, so that's bullish. And we keep making lower lows, so got a lower high, and we made a lower low, so we're in a downtrend. So bullish, but in a downtrend on GLD. Kind of just moving to the right here. Okay, so that's GLD. Let's take a look at USO. USO got a lower high, lower low, closed underneath bullish trap over the rising 17, middle of quadrant 4. Okay, that's bullish up in quadrant 4. Have not made lower lows, so we are still in an uptrend. Bullish and in an uptrend for USO daily chart. Let's take a look at UNG. UNG got a, see what the high is, 1194. 1198 outside day. All right, so we got an outside day. It's a higher high and a lower low. We closed inside a bullish trap over the melting up 17 EMA. We're still, let me pan out so you can see the full picture, in quadrant 1, so that's bearish. Anytime you're in the lower third, that's bearish. Upper third, that's bullish. Okay, in the middle, that's neutral. So we're bearish, but we're in an uptrend on UNG daily chart. Again, this is just a 14-year high anchored VWAP right there. Okay, so bearish all the way to still down in quadrant 1. That is the all-time low right there. We were flirting with that all-time low right there. I think once the Straits of Hormuz get straightened out, UNG's got one more dip, and I think that's going to be it. And then it's going to be pretty close to a buyable event. Maybe. We'll see. All right, there's UNG. All right, let's take a look at internals. Start off with T2101. All right, market melted up today, of course. All right, and what happened to absolute breadth participation? All right, we came down. So we lost more participation today as the market moved higher. So that is a bearish clue. All right, making new highs on weakness, weak volume makes for a very fragile top. It's like Jenga with half the blocks removed, all right? You've all played Jenga. You know what it's like playing with half the blocks already removed, okay? It's not easy. Okay, so there's T2101. That's the internals. T2122. Nice bullish sign here. We wind up in the buyer's chop zone as price moves up today. That's a nice sign. That's bullish, making a higher high. Still not higher than this. It's just higher than yesterday's price action, which camped out inside the sell zone. All right, so nice work on T2122. That's a little bullish right there. T2123. What do we got here? Looks like a bear flag to me. Extension on the bear flag. Still haven't filled this bearish gap from yesterday. We got a low. We made a lower low right here. So we're still in a downtrend. We have not made higher highs. We are still in quadrant 4. I'll pan out so you can see it. Okay, still in quadrant 4. That's bullish. We're under the 200 SMA. That's not where you want to be if you're a bull. All right, but T2123, 15-minute. We're bullish up here in bottom of quadrant 4. And we're in a downtrend because we keep making lower lows. That's T2123. 15-minute chart, 3-bar chart. We are up in quadrant 4, so we're bullish. This is the same product. All right, we're still bullish up here in quadrant 4. We're over the rising 200 SMA. That's where you want to be if you're a bull. A lot of red dots here, consecutive red dots. Hopefully it turns green eventually. We'll see. Currently, they have not made any lower lows. So they're still bullish and in an uptrend. The only thing is that uptrend is no longer moving up. It's kind of melting off or over to the right. That's T2123. FNGU today is a high. They made a higher high, so that's an uptrend. All right, they're underneath the flat 200 SMA. That's not where you want to be, but they are moving up closer, kind of wanting to challenge, get on top of it. That would be nice. They're in an uptrend currently on the 15-minute chart. They are also bullish because if I put the quad lines on here, which I took them off just earlier, you can see we're all the way up there in quadrant 4. So that's bullish and in an uptrend for FNGU. I'm going to take these off. Okay, you can see we're also up over that all-time high anchored VWAP. That's the pink line right there. So that's FNGU, US dollar index. And you can see right here, we're still in an uptrend. We have not made lower lows. So US dollar index still in an uptrend here. Okay, so that's US dollar. So what do we trade today? Let's go back and look at the guidance. I think this is the guidance. And I think it was a little bit lengthy this morning. Yeah, that looks like it. Okay, so in the pre-market, we observed 10-minute uptrend over the post-market consolidation. That, to me, is a bullish environment. So I'll be looking for an uptrend to trade over 734.50, like to take it up to 737.45. That's identified resistance, and then higher to 742 to the pre-market call wall. Okay, so let's just go look at that paragraph in itself right now. Okay, so let's go look at the market, and we want game plan, we want SPY, okay, and we want 5-minute chart. Actually, we want 10-minute chart, and we want to push the PPO up because we don't need it right now. So you can see this was the consolidation right here into the close. That would be yesterday's post-market close right there. So lots of just bear flag consolidation right through there. Okay, so there's your consolidation. Then you have a consolidation breakout into a 10-minute uptrend, which happens at 4 in the morning when the European market takes over. So you can see 10-minute chart. We've got the sticks and the 3 plotting up over the rising 8. So we got ourselves a 10-minute uptrend, all right, which actually gets closed out here. But if we go to a 15, see what that looks like. That doesn't get closed out till right here. Okay, so we go into a 15-minute uptrend. Got to pull back to the base. Notice they tagged the base. Remember I say like right there, it's a base. So they come back, tag the base, and then rip to new highs up here. Come back, try to tag some of this. They didn't quite make it all the way back here, but they got back to this right there. Okay, see that support right there? They got onto that, and then they're ripping to make new highs right now. Okay, so here we are with price. So we were looking for a 10-minute uptrend, remember, over 734.50. As you can see, this was 735, 734.50 is going to be this line right here, 734.50, right about there. Okay, so looking for an uptrend. You have a 10-minute uptrend right here. You can see with the sticks and the 3 plotting up over the rising 8, so 10-minute uptrend. You also have green erases red as soon as you clear over the top of this base right there at 736.87. Okay, as soon as you clear over that, all right, and then we have a rip all the way up here into this 741.91 area. Okay, and then from there we kind of melt off and consolidate sideways, all right, as we wind up for another liftoff, which looks like it's imminent any minute here after the close. Okay, so consolidate, and then looks like another uptrend. They made a higher low, so chances are they're going to make a higher high. We'll see what happens. So there's 10-minute chart. That's the 10-minute uptrend. All right, I framed it out for you. I want a 10-minute uptrend over 734.50. Want to take it up to 737.45. Let's plot where that is. Let's duplicate this line. So where is 747.35? Going to be right about there. So I'm going to take it all the way up to 737.45, 10-minute uptrend, and then on up higher to the call wall, which happens to be in the pre-market was at 742, and it switched to, I think, 740 in the middle of the day here. So we took that all the way up there. And then from there, they just consolidated over to the right. And okay, what do you got here today? You've got, let's look at everything that we've got. We've got, see the ADMA separate from the rising VWAP. Okay, we've got the picture of money right there. We've got the 10-minute uptrend. We've got green erases red right over the top of this base right here. Okay, right over the top of that. All of this consolidation right to your here. Green erases red all the way up to here. And then we're going to get another green erases red as we're breaking out over the top of this base. Looking for another green erases red to the upside. So we had all of this happening today. Not to mention, I think we had a 10-minute uptrend between the hours of 11 and noon. Like I said, there's only a 70% chance that that 10-minute uptrend stays true until 2:30. Okay, and you can see they did not stay true on the 10-minute chart. They crossed under right here. But it's nice they didn't pull all the way back to VWAP, kind of showing you some strength right there. All right, so not able to pull all the way back to VWAP. Would have been nice to tag the minor support right there and then rip and make a new higher high. Didn't quite make it back to minor support, didn't quite make the higher high. Maybe if they completed one, they would have got the other. We don't know. But there's SPY. That's what we traded for today. You can see the guidance right here. The guidance is posted in the room long before the market opens most of the time. I'm going to say all the time, but I could be wrong. 9:15, 9:18, the market's posted right here. I think I even posted it. Oh, yes, right here, 7:46 in the morning. Okay? So the guidance gets you prepared for the day, along with a few lessons to go with it. All right, here's a lesson, another lesson on the coiling. And don't forget, oh, yeah, thanks, Ed. And then we've got today, we've got tomorrow, we have a workshop, and it's a members workshop, starts at noon. All right, so if you don't see me in the trading room, that's where I'm going to be. It's over there in the combo room. If you want to know how to get to your combo room, I'll help you with that in just a second. All right, but Doug's going to do an hour presentation on support and resistance. I'm going to talk about diagonal support and resistance. All right, and I'm going to talk about horizontal support and resistance. And I'll probably even talk about gamma support and resistance. All right, so it should be an exciting day tomorrow. I start at 1, Doug starts at noon, Rick starts at 2. Usually I run long. I try not to. I don't want to cut into his time. But I like talk. Somehow it is. I don't know what it is. I get talking and I get comfortable talking when there's a lot of people there. So anyways, let's move this down. Oh, let's go over here. How to get to the combo room. You log into your Hit and Run Candlesticks website. And right here where you would log into Hit and Run Candlesticks or to BYOB, this is our members page. This is where you'd log in. You hit the combo room right there. All right, if you're looking for the recordings, you find them under the resources, and it says e-learning replay right here. And you can see there's actually 10 videos per page, and we have 36 pages. So that's 360 videos. And if that's not enough learning for you, just wait. You go to the public webinar, all right, and then you're there. We've got, again, 10 videos per page, all right, and 20 pages, another 200 videos. And if that's not enough, each one of us has a YouTube channel, that's probably got thousands of videos on it. All right, so we're here to help you learn. And by the way, I do free coaching, so if you ever need help, just come on up here to the room. All right, in the room right here, under notes and free coaching with John. It says 15 minutes. They last much longer than 15 minutes, but usually 15 minutes is plenty of time to correct anything that you have. But I'll stay with you as long as we need to in order to get you fixed. And you just connect with me on the Teams. Just let me know who you are. I'll do free coaching. I want to help you succeed. Because if you're not making money, it's not going to be fun. And if it's not fun, you're not going to stick around. All right, so let's go take a look at the market. That's it for me. Any questions? What's NVIDIA going to do? I don't know. I think it's going to go up. If you got any questions, you can see the guidance works. I post the guidance. XGN. Let's take a look at it on the daily chart. XGN. This looks like a rounded bottom. You got another bottom forming here. And you're in the upper third, so I like it. I like it. Let's just point out obvious resistance, though, okay? So you can see that wick. Anytime you see wicks, all right, that's going to be resistance. So you can see the reversal right here. They couldn't quite hold it up here. Just be aware you're right up against resistance. Nothing says they're going to fall apart, but you know what I'm saying? I wouldn't want to lose any more than, I wouldn't want to get below that tail right there, okay, on that today's candle. I wouldn't want to beat today's low. In other words, wouldn't want to go lower than today's low. But I don't know. I don't know if you can hold on like that because you're right up into resistance. And you've been here grinding away for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days. And you're trying to make a breakout into this area. So we'll see. It's going to be tight. I could probably pinch this down a little bit more. Not much, though. You're just right there on the edge. Like to see it up here and not see a false breakout. I like to see them get up here and hold that higher high. Or hold the higher ground on top of resistance right there. So you're right into resistance right there. All right, for that one. And you've already consolidated 5 days and you're moving up. You're moving up right now. So that was perfect. Right out of the 3-8 trap right there to go into that area. So I like that. As long as it keeps moving up. I'd like to see one more green day closing up here, up over that body. And you want to look at NV and SATL. That looks... Is this a derivative or a for the SpaceX? Is this getting some sympathy rally from SpaceX IPO? Is that what's going on with this one? SATL sympathy, yeah. All right, so right now you've got a nice consolidating at the all-time highs, I think. No, near it. You're near it, those all-time highs. Wow, you don't have much more to go, just that wick. So you're doing well here. This one is doing great. Just bear in mind, let's look over here to the left. Okay, that's a peak, that's a peak, that's a peak. So where is resistance? Well, right along the top of all those peaks right through there. So you are currently possibly holding the support area, which is resistance. So I like that they've come down and they bulls bought it up each one of these times to close over that area. So that's that's looking good. If they can hold that high ground up there, look like the bears want to sell it off, but the bulls come back and buy it right back up. That's a good sign. Holding those highs for 4 or 5 days, you might get another breakout. I don't know when the SpaceX IPO comes out, but that's looking good for another move higher, maybe even make a new all-time high for this. So that's primed up, ready to go. But keep in mind, you've gone up. See how you pulled back to minor support? Remember I was talking about this yesterday? I like them when they rip up, pull back to minor support. So where's minor support? See this right here? That would be the peak. All right? So they pull back to the peak, and then they rip and make a new high. This is doing the right stuff. This is everything that I like to see out of a stock, is pull back to hit the minor support, rip, make a new higher high. Pull back to minor support, rip, make a new higher high. This is the right stuff. And you've got, I like the idea of those tails down there. That shows me buyers are stepping in. So this is looking good for you, Robert. I like this. I like this to make a new all-time high, probably right alongside the release of the SpaceX IPO. NVTS. Wow, big candle there. Nice big candle. Yeah, this is looking ready for a breakout. I like that it closed. Look at the body. Closed over the high of this body, the high of that body, the body, not the whole candlestick, but closed over the high of those two bodies. Nice one right there. That's another one that's up into prior highs over here. All right. And you got sellers that were right there. And this looks good. All right. If you can hold right here, see those two red candle highs? They look like bookends right in there, holding the books. Okay. Stay up on top of that. You got, I think, for like 3 or 4 days, I think you get another breakout, maybe even more, maybe 10 days. But I like that up there. That's looking good to make some new all-time highs before the market rolls over. Amazon. All right, Amazon's putting in a bull flag. All right, that's a bull flag right there. We're waiting for this to break out. So, in other words, all this got to do is break that downtrend right there. That's bullish. All right, because if you look at this with the quad lines, you're up in quadrant 4. That's bullish. And obviously no lower lows, so that's an uptrend right there. So that's bullish and in an uptrend, and you're putting in a bull flag right now. So I like it. Anything that stays in that upper third, right there, look at that. Price came in yesterday, bought it up, and then they drove it all the way back to the trend line. And this is looking fantastic for a breakout to the upside. Maybe even a new higher high. And you got to pull back to minor support. See right there? See the peak of all this consolidation? There's your pullback, touch minor support. And then you're going to get hopefully this gives you some follow through right there. Again, another one that does what I like it to do, which is pull back, hit minor support, there it is, and then rip and make a new higher high. So I like it. BE might rip. I like Amazon. I like it. I like the idea that you just hit minor support. I just want to see follow through on that green candle. BE. BE is a mess. It's putting in kind of an expanding volatility wedge, and those never work out for me. Okay, and just saying that they don't work out for me. So I'm just going to tell you, be careful. I would let it get up top here and hold the higher ground first. Other than that, see where if you were bought this low, you get a false breakout and then get a steep pullback. Bulls came in, bought it up here. Just be careful on this one. All right, this would be something. See how you got a low, a lower low, and even lower low right here. So I'm just saying, be careful. They need to get up on top of, right up here and hold that higher ground on top of 300. So they're dealing with 300, and it looks like they're having a hard time with it right now. All right. They are holding some of the higher ground, okay, but they are having a hard time with the 300 number. You're in the upper third up here, of course. So it's still bullish, but I'm just saying be careful. Whenever I see that, the wedge is going in the wrong way. It's got a lower low there and an even lower low right there. I like that the bulls bought it up both times. All right, just kind of be careful on that one. MAR, great. You're welcome. MAR. Yeah, MAR, look, pull back, make a higher high, pull back, nice rip. You got to make a higher high though. So you pull back to the 50. You see right there, pull back to the 50. So you have a chance of getting a double top or a higher high. All right. If they come all the way back down to here, then they normally only have a chance of getting back to the low side of quadrant 4. But you pull back to the 50, so you got chance to move 2 higher. So look for that to double top up here. You're coming up over that resistance. I like the idea that you're holding that. I would not want to lose or have candles close below 363.34. Okay, I would not want to have candles close below. I would want to see them hold the support area. Okay, so they need to stay. Really, they need to stay in quadrant 4. All right, because if they can't stay in quadrant 4, that means they failed at making a higher high, and they're probably going to come back and test the support again. And your support's only been tested twice, so the third time might break through, or the third time might hold. Okay, so on MAR, they need to stay in quadrant 4. All right, they can keep melting up, or they can go to the right, but they need to stay in quadrant 4 up there, right on top of support. I don't want to lose the support. FPC and SEDG. Be careful on that one. That's kind of exhaustion right there. That's the biggest green candle I've seen in years. So be careful on that one. It's bullish. You pull back. Notice the body is in the upper third. See the hold right here. See the support right there. See the body stayed in the upper third. So that's bullish. Okay, so that's bullish up there. And you got a 4 candle hold. I like that. It's got to stay in that upper third. right there. This is looking good to go higher, but that looks like exhaustion. So be careful with that one. All right, and you back? Can you see me now? Yeah. So that looks like exhaustion. You're in the upper third up here. See how that body, see how they closed in the upper third? That's an important feature, all right, of this uptrend. So they need to stay in that upper third. If they can't stay in that upper third or over that 8 EMA, then we might want to tighten everything down in case you don't want to get rolled over on Sedge. But that's a nice trade. Nice big candle there the other day. What's that, 48 all the way to 64? That's 14 and $2 makes $16 candle right there. Nice move. So really nice move. So hopefully that's igniting. And then you got 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Hopefully you get an MMRP out of this. You broke through resistance. And you get 3 more candles to the upside. And then 3 more candles to the upside. So you got 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So that's got to stay up on top of this brick of candles right there. It's got to stay in the upper third for Sedge. FPC. Market chatter was that they were going to partner with NVIDIA. Well, that would be great. The chart's not bad. You got a W pattern breakout. You're holding over the brick. All right. You're in the upper third. It's a lot of stuff working. You've got a 4-day hold up here. A lot of stuff working for this. You got almost looks like an MMRP. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. You might see three group of 3 days make a higher low and a higher high, and look for a successive 3 days making higher low and higher high between the 3 of them. Not to say that you won't get a red candle in there, but as group them off into 3s and see them make a higher low and a higher high. This is looking good. I like that. I just wouldn't want to give up. Wouldn't want to give up the upper third. That's it on that one. All right. They already came back and tested this with this candle here. There's no need to test it again. All right. So that's it. Now FPC. FPC. FP. C. So I don't have that one. FPC. FPS. Yeah, that one's looking good. You got the upside down sword, so the business end's pointed down. You don't want the business end pointed up. You do have a business end pointed up sword there, but you did take out the business end right there. See that? They closed over the business end, so you negated the power within the sword right there. So that's looking good. Everything's looking good on this. I like this. This is that is a big candle at the end of the move, though. Okay, we have to recognize that. and it is kind of the biggest candle on the chart. It's not a body, it's just loaded with lots of tail and wick, but it actually is the biggest candle on the chart. So this followed by 3 red candles. This might be done. You might get one bounce out of this right here on the hourly time frame. And unless they can get back up here and recover, I'm just saying, like, recognize that that is the biggest candle at the end of the move. All right? It's actually the biggest candle on the chart. Okay, so unless they can get back up here in the upper half where the bulls do business up here. Okay, but I would wait for it to get up there, because that's a big candle at the end of the move. If they can get back up here and close a candle up there, that would be interesting. Okay, that was the last candle that closed. Then the following 3 days did not close in the bullish section up there. Yeah, pretty sharp reversal right there. The only thing you got going for it is you took out the business end of that little sword right, that little dagger right there. But you got to close up there where the bulls do business. And the bulls do business on the other side of the 50-yard line. Yeah, this is kind of coiling up right here, right here, right here. I like the higher low, higher high. I like the higher low, come back to hit minor support. I'll be looking for this to make a higher high. This is looking good. It's a bear flag. Maybe you can get a breakout right there. Don't be surprised if the bear flag gets extended a few more days. This last bull flag. This last bull flag lasted 1, 2, 3. I'm not going to count the peak. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 candles, and then it started to move up. So you've got, not going to count the peak. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 candles. You're starting to break out. You don't want a false breakout. So hopefully you get follow through on this. All right, but they might give you another candle over here to the right. We'll see what happens. But this is looking good to run up there and make another high. What do we got over to the left? Lots of stuff over here to the left. Okay, so you're closing over the support line. That's great. So I would want to see follow through on this or stay on top of this line right here. All right, need to stay on top of that line. All right, they can move over to the right. This is a 2-day chart. They can move over to the right, but they need to stay above that line right there. Yeah, it's got to stay up there. Otherwise, it's going to start testing more lows. It's going to go search for support. That's what happens. They just touch minor support. They're ripping now. All right, if they fail to break the top of those wicks, okay, then they're going to go back out and research, check support one more time. So now we've got MATX. And pick that up on the daily. That's looking good. Yeah, this is, look at consolidation over prior consolidation. That's bullish. All right, that's beautiful right there. Consolidation over prior consolidation. It's a bullish environment. Just stay with that. Look for that breakout right there. That's looking fantastic. Yep. PSMT. So what happened here? What was this? All right, so you got, again, same as MTX. You've got consolidation, okay, up over prior price action right here. Okay, so that's bullish environment, and you're holding the higher ground. I would look for this to break out. This is getting ready. This is breaking out now on PSMT. Same with MATX. It's breaking out now. All right. I just wouldn't want them to get stuffed or jammed. All right. So that's breaking out right now. So both of those looking good. Breaking out. Consolidation over prior consolidation. You know, that's a bullish environment. And look how they held the highs up there. That's looking good. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's a misprint on my chart. But if it's not there, you still get consolidation over prior consolidation, which is showing you a bullish environment right there on that one. All right, traders, everybody good? You're welcome. All right, we will see everybody tomorrow. We'll see what those NVIDIA earnings delivered. All right. Oh, got a big wick down, little rip up. Okay, are we getting the breakout? Clean out the stops and rip higher, right? Is that what they do? And there's NVIDIA breaking over the base right now. We'll see if they can close over it. And let's take a look at SPY. And SPY, clean out the stops. And look like SPY's getting ready to run. All right, traders, I'll see you all tomorrow. Let's do it again. All right, everybody have a beautiful weekend. Not a weekend, beautiful evening.